afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Night Miss.
All right. So we're gonna start off today by looking at statistics. What we will do is we will define the term statistics, and then we look at the two forms in which we represent statistics. All right. So I would need someone to tell me in their own words what they understand by the word statistics. Anyone, what do you understand by the term statistics?
It's stats.
Stats, and what is stats about? Come on, let me hear you.
Numbers.
All right, you deal with numbers. All right, now basically statistics, it's a name which is given to the science of where you're collecting large quantities. All right, and those large quantities, like you saying here, you're saying numbers. Okay, we can deal with numbers. Large quantities of facts. All right, these facts that you collect are also referred to as data. Now, those information that you collect, or the data you collect, or the facts you collect, we study them, all right, and then they are analyzed. All right, so statistics is where you it's basically the science of collecting facts or data. You study those data and you analyze them. Now, there are different ways in which we can represent statistics or these data when analyzed. Any idea what are some of the ways?
Service.
Surveys, but can we that's the way we're collecting the data through surveys. All right, good.
On a
Anywhere
table.
on a table or in a form of a table. Yes, good. What else?
On a graph.
Well, we represent the information on graphs. All right, I can take that. Anything else? Any other form we can use to collect information? All right, we like you saying surveys, and there are different ways in doing surveys. We can do it in a questionnaire form and so forth. And like Serena just said, you can present those. You can use graphs to represent those information or present those information. All right, and also these information when presented on a graph, it can be studied from there where you can do an analysis. Now, there are different types of graphs, such as, let me hear from you.
Pie chart.
You have pie chart,
Bar
Histogram.
graph.
bar graph, histogram, okay,
Line graph.
line graph. Any else you know of? All right, so those are some of the basic ones. So what we will be doing
Chart.
today, pardon me?
Mr. Tally chart.
All right, the tally chart is basically where you use to represent information. Yes, and you can use that as well. So yes, that is also a form of representing statistical data or statistical information. So yes, Crystal, that's correct. All right, so like I was saying, for today, what we will be doing is two of those charts, namely the bar graph and the pie chart. Those are the two that we will be doing. All right, so I'm going to give you a minute quickly to take this definition here for statistics. Indicate to me when you're finished, and then we're going to look at examples or diagrams.
Miss
Yes, go ahead,
Miss
Serena.
Siobhan said that she is not in the VYC group but would like to be a part of it.
Van is in the group, yes. I add her to the group.
Well, she told me she's not in, but she would like to be a part of it. So I don't know.
Yes, she has information. She came to the very first class. So she can join. Send information to her, let her join. I am sure she's part of this class. Send her the information, let her join, all right?
Okay, Miss.
All right, so let me know when you guys are finished copying the definition so we can work with examples, all right?
Yes, miss.
All right, so
Yes, Miss.
okay, the first one that we will be looking at today will be the bar graph. So give me a minute, let me get up the information on bar graph. Now we also refer to the bar graph as bar chart. All right, bar graph or bar chart, or in some you'll also see it as column graph. Somebody can tell me what they understand or know about the bar graph. What's a bar graph about? What is a bar graph
Excuse me,
about?
miss.
Yes, Angel.
The bar, the top. Okay, let's talk.
I'm listening to you, Angel. All right, seem to lose Angel. Yes, Serena, you were about to say something. I'm listening to you now.
Yes, miss. Miss, that has bars on it that represents a quantity of something.
All right, well, you cut out a part, so I'm assuming this is what you said. A bar graph basically is a graph that shows the information or displayed information, some things that you need to know about a bar graph. It's either vertical, sorry, or horizontal. It consists of a number of rectangular bars of same width. All right, same width, meaning that the width of the bars will be the same. It has equal space in between the bars, but the height will be different. All right, and like I said, it can be vertically or horizontally be drawn, but basically what you guys are doing is vertical the vertical bar chart is what you're focusing on. All right, that's the one that we will be focusing on. So all you need to remember, bar chart basically consists of a number of rectangular bars of the same width, and it can be drawn vertically or horizontally and are evenly spaced out. All right. Good. So here we have that a bar chart, like we said, it consists of a number of rectangular bars of the same width, which can be drawn either vertically or horizontally. And when it said evenly spaced out, it means that between the bars that there you have even spaces. All right. So we have an example here. This first example says the table shown, it shows heights of 7 of the principal waterfalls in South America. Here they give you the waterfall, the name of the waterfall, the location of the waterfall, and the heights in meters. And they're asking you to draw a bar chart to represent this information. So take a minute, copy this, and then we're going to go ahead. Since you'll have the information, you will go ahead and I'll guide you as to how to do this bar graph. Now you need to have your graph paper so that you can draw it on the graph paper. So ensure you have that here. So let me know when you're finished copying the example here, and then we're going to go ahead and do construction of a bar graph. All right, or a bar chart, guys. So I'm gonna guide you guys as to how to go ahead and construct the bar chart or bar graph. Note that you may not get a perfect picture here, but I'll give you an idea and you can do it from your end. All right. So I have a graph here, a graph paper here, which is not really clear, but I will show you as to how you go about doing the graph. Now, you should know that your bar chart or your bar graph is consists of one quadrant. And when I say one quadrant, I'm going back to where you should know that you have 4 quadrants. All right, you have quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you're doing another topic, you normally come in to know the different types of quadrant. And the quadrant that we are using here is basically the positive quadrant. So you should know that we have x and y axes. Our x-axis will be the horizontal axis, while our vertical axis will be the x-axis. All right, so I wouldn't be able to put in certain things, but I expect you to do that. So the first thing you'd always do is to construct your lines or your axes. So let me change this color here. Let me know, are you seeing this here? Are you seeing?
Yes, miss.
All right, so like this one here that this axis that I just construct here? What axis will this be?
The y-axis.
That is the y-axis. Good. And you must, there are some little things that you need to remember. You need to remember that whenever you are constructing your graph, you must always label it. I wouldn't be able to put it in here. So here you have to label y. Here you label x. Now from the information you have there, what information goes on the x-axis and what information goes on the y-axis? Anybody, what information do we put on the x-axis from the table that you have there? What information do you put on x and what do you put on y?
Miss X, you put the name of the waterfall,
Yeah.
and on Y you put the
We
height
put the
meters.
height.
Excellent. So on the x-axis, we'll have the name of the waterfall, while on the y-axis, you would have your height of the waterfall. Now, my information, that the graph information that I'm going to put here is not accurate. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to draw your x and y axis. You're going to put your waterfall names at the bottom, and at the side here, which is your y-axis, is where you're going to go ahead and put your heights. Now, before you go ahead and do that, let me just show you something here. Let's say that we know that the first waterfall, what is the name of the first waterfall that we have here? Angel is the first waterfall, and they tell us it's 979. I think that's the tallest one there. So I'm gonna assume that this entire line here is 1,000. Oh, another thing you need to note, I really wish I could have written on this thing here. Another thing you need to note, let's say you look for your smallest number, you're starting from your smallest number, which is 251. But you have to remember here is 0, at the bottom here is 0. Then when you say equal spacing, if you're using 1 centimeter, on my thing, let me say here is 1 centimeter. Let me see if I can able. Yeah, let me say for if here is 0, here is 1 centimeter. All right. Then I will also skip 2 spaces where here would also be 2 centimeter. Therefore, my other here would also be 1 centimeter. Sorry, not 2 centimeter, 1 centimeter. And you will keep going up and continue doing the same thing here. So therefore, each number will be equal distance apart. All right. So the first number you would ask, or you may be asking, what number we are starting here with. Now note that the first number you have there, the smallest number you have is 251. So we will not start
51.
yes, we're not going to start at 200. We're going to start from 100. So from here will be 0. Here will be 100. Here will be 200, 300, and you continue where the largest number is 979. So we stopped at 1,000. So we are counting in hundreds. Therefore, we know on your graph paper, if from here to here you're using as 1 centimeter, you will count and you'll see there are 5 boxes. So each box will represent 10 centimeters. Are we good there? Are you with me? Not 10 centimeters, 10 meters. Are you with me?
Yes,
Yes,
miss.
Miss.
Good. So you're counting in 100 and hundreds here. You cannot start with the first number 251 here. All right. So I am assuming that till at the top here is 1,000. Therefore, 9 something will be somewhere here. So I'm going to assume this is 979. So the first thing you need to do is to put in your, draw up your bars. So I'm going to use the same width that I use here. I'm going to use the same thing here. So this from here to here. So my bar going to be something like this. I'm going up. Let's say here is 979. And then I also go across here 2 times. All right. So you're going to do this here. If you notice, this width here and this width here is also the same. This is my first bar. Let's assume that is Angel. Then the same width, that the same spacing that you skip here, you also skip here. And then you put in your other bar. Our other bar that we have there is 610. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm assuming here will be 6. So my bar will be something like this here. Now mine will not be perfect because I'm not using an original graph paper. And as you go along, so you need to ensure that between each of these bars, you have equal spacing. The height will differ, but the width will be the same. All right? So you're going to continue it. I'm going to give you a few minutes to go ahead and complete this. Ensure that your bars are the same width, all right, and they're equal space between the bars. So go ahead, complete it, let me know, and then we'll keep going on. 5 minutes, I'm going to give you guys to complete this. Okay, so we finished looking at the bar graph. The other one that we need to look at will be the pie chart. And what can you tell me about the pie chart? Anybody? What do you know about the pie chart?
It is one
Miss,
whole that is
yes, it's round.
separated into parts to represent data.
All right, thank you. Yes, I'm listening to you now. Who was it? Adler. Yes, Adler. I'm listening to you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, Miss, I just said it's wrong.
You're going to say it's wrong. All right. Now, pie chart. Both of you are absolutely correct. It's basically like a circle where it's divided into sectors or areas, and each of those sector or area is directly proportional to a magnitude of the information given, meaning the magnitude has to do with what? The size, right? Magnitude has to do with size. It's representing a specific size. All right. So a pie chart is a circular diagram or a circle. All right. It's similar to a pizza. If you think of a pizza, how it's divided for a pizza, each sector is actually divided to the same size. But for a pie chart now, every sector will have different size depending on the information given. All right. So a pie chart, like I said before, it's a circular diagram, which is another way that we use to illustrate statistical information. Now, the circle diagram, which is a circle, is divided into sectors of varying sector angles or areas. All right, so this is it in a little nutshell what a pie chart is all about. We are going to work examples based on that. So you can copy the definition there, and we're going to work this example that I have up here now. Right, so this is your example here. So go ahead as well and copy this example here, and then we're going to go ahead and do the necessary calculations, and I'll guide you as to how to construct a pie chart. So let me know when you're finished copying. All right, so let's go ahead and work the example that we have here. So they're telling you that this table above here, it gives you information about new teachers that graduated from the Trinity College in the year 1992. So the first thing they ask you to do is to calculate the total number of teachers that graduate from that Trinity College. Now, this is very simple. How do we go about working that? Anybody? How would you go about finding the total number of teachers? If you have to find the total number of teachers, what would you do?
Let's just add everything.
Simply add. So the question asks you for the total number of teachers. So total number of teachers is equal to, what is our figure? So we have there, we have 17 plus 25 plus 10 plus 15 plus 23. Do the calculations and tell me how much you got when you add everything together.
90.
90. So the total number of teachers will be 90. Good. The B part is asking us for what? To determine the sector that will represent each number of the teachers that are graduating in the subject area. So first one we look at is mathematics. We need to know what is the sector of the mathematics. Now, what you simply do is you have to remember that, like we said before, that a pie chart is basically a circle, And you should know that a circle is equal to how much degrees?
360 degrees.
360 degrees. So how you go ahead, how do you go about and do the calculations here? You simply take the total number of mathematics teachers, which is 17. You divide that by the total number of teachers, which is 90, and we multiply this by 360. So when we do that, 17 divided by 90 multiplied by 360 gives us what? Somebody do the calculations.
68.
Okay, so that will be 68, and remember it's a sector of a circle, so that will be 68 degrees. Don't forget to put in your degree symbol. Okay. And then we continue doing the same thing for the others. The other subject we have is what? English. So then we go ahead and calculate for English. English will now be what? Amount of English person we have is 25. So we take that 25 and we divide it by 90. And we multiply that by 360. When we multiply that by 360, what would we get? 25 divided by 90 times 360 gives us
100.
100 degrees.
Correct, that's 100 degrees, right? Okay, then the other subject we have is what? What's the other subject? Somebody tell me what's the other subject, please. Physics?
Physics.
Yes. Physics, all right, and physics will be how much? 10. So this will be 10 divided by 90 times 360. Do the calculations.
40.
Sorry?
40.
40, and that will be 40 what? Degrees. Okay, then we go to the other subject, which we have as chemistry. Chemistry, that will be 15% out of the 90. Yes, so there'll be 15 out of 90 multiplied by 360. What will we get there?
60.
60.
60 degrees. Okay,
Let's multiply everything by 4.
you multiply everything by 4. What everything you multiply by 4?
The amount of teachers to get the answer, because 90 into 360 is 4, and you just multiply by 4 to get the answer.
Oh, yes, you can do that. So history now, we have that as 23%, 23, sorry, not percent, 23. So this will be 23 divided by 90 times 30, times 360, sorry. And what will we get for history there?
92.
Okay, 92 degrees. Now, if we add every figure that we have here, every degree we add here, we should get back a total of 360 degrees. Hence, that pie chart will have no extra space. Every space will be taken up with one of these subjects here. Are we good here so far in doing the calculations? Is there any question or anybody want me to go through back it, or we're clear there? All right, I'll take those silence as being yes. Now the third part is asking you to construct a pie chart of radius 2.2 centimeters. All right, so we have a second example here. Here the pie chart is already constructed for you, but you will have to do some calculations. So the pie chart above illustrates how a manufacturing company sets its budget for a year on various items as indicated below. The W means wages and salaries, R stands for raw materials, T for transportation, E for electricity and telephone bills, M for miscellaneous. The company spent 875,000 on electricity and telephone bills. Now, the first question is asking you to calculate the total budget. So we want the total budget. Then, so we have to go ahead and calculate what is the total budget. Anyone with any idea how we go about doing that?
You scroll back to the chart so we can see the whole chart.
All right, no problem. Good. So the question is asking you here. Let me just small it so we can see the question as well as the chart. Good. So you see in this diagram, that's the diagram there, and they're asking you to calculate the total budget. So I'm giving you a minute to look at it and tell me how you think you're going about to do that.
Miss Well, electricity and telephone bills is a certain amount, 875,000. So that means 14 degrees is the amount. Yeah, that's all I got, cause
But it has
Me say
sorry, go ahead.
me say I divide 360 degrees by 14 degrees and you times it by the 875.
Why? Why are we doing that? What is the main reason we're doing that?
because
Because
14 degrees is 875,000.
the whole circle is 360, 14 degrees electricity and telephone, 875 is the company spent. And that's how you find want to find the total budget.
All right. Yes, you both are absolutely correct. Now, remember 40%, 14 degrees is electricity and telephone bill, and they give us an amount there. So we have to find for the remaining amount. So yes, what Shai said there and what Serena, both of you saying, you're absolutely correct. So what you do is that to find the all right, it's saying that we have 10 minutes remaining, so we'll have to come back on just now again. So the total budget,
We should break up the
I'm saying to you, the total budget will be the 875,000, and that is multiplied by 360. Why? Because 360 is the entire circle. So it will be 360 divided by the 14 degrees. All right, remember we are doing the reverse of what we did just now. In order for you to find the degrees, you have to take the total amount divided by, the amount given divided by the total amount multiplied by 360. So we are doing the opposite now, where we're taking the 360 and we'll divide it by 14. So 875,000 times 360 divided by 14 gives us what?
Missing is 0.
Yeah, I just put it in. I realized that.
Definitely.
Thank you. Good. So 875,000 times 360 divided by 14 gives us what? Somebody didn't calculate, or you can't call the figure. Call it the single digits if you can't call the finger. All right, so you should get 22,500,000. That's what you got?
it's
So you can't call the figure, so you stay quiet, Adler. All right, so this is how you go about finding the total budget. The other part is asking us for the amount spent on raw materials. Any idea how we go about doing that? Now, in order for you to find what is raw materials, let me go back to the diagram. We have to know
we
what.
should add up or minus.
That's correct. We have to know what is this degree here. So we have to know how much is that degree. So let's go back there. Let me put B. We know the total circle, so let me say sector. I'm gonna call this sector representing the raw materials is equal to 360 minus the total amount that is given there, and we got to see what is given there to us. Let me go back up and see what is given. So we know that we have W, which is wages and salary, as 107. We have miscellaneous is 18. Then we have electricity as 14, and then we have transportation as 53. So we add everything there and subtract it from 360. Tell me how much you got. 360 minus, when you add everything in the bracket, what did you get?
192.
192. All right, and then subtract 192.
168
So this becomes
degrees.
168 degrees. You guys didn't even realize I leave out my degree sign all the time. Anyways, you're gonna put that in. Good. So that is the sector only. But the question asks us for what? The amount spent on raw materials. So remember, what there are two ways you can do this. I'm gonna show you both ways. Now we already know. I think this is the easiest way too. So let me show you the easy way first. So what the question asks us again? Amount. So we can say the amount spent on raw materials. So we already calculated what was the budget earlier. We know that the budget is this amount. So we take our budget. All right, we take our budget and we multiply that by the degrees, which is 168 degrees upon 360. So this here will be 168 upon 360. So that's one way in doing it. So somebody do the calculations again there. We have 22,500,000 times 168 upon 360.
Miss 10.5 million.
10.5 million. So be 10,500,000. Right? Good. That's one way you could have done it. Or I'm sure some people are thinking about this way, where they take the
14 with the 14.
yes, they use the 14, not the 14 degrees, where they use the figure 875,000. They use this format here, 875,000. So you could have done it this way, 875,000. And instead of having 360 at the top here, it will be 168. 168 divided by 14. When you calculate that, you're still supposed to get 10,500,000. Can somebody confirm that? Are you able to get the same figure?
Yeah, miss.
Good. So either way, you're absolutely correct. It doesn't matter. You could have done it both ways. All right. So same way answer you will get there. Are we clear there? Do you want me to go back anything? All right. So
Miss, how we get the part of the total budget? How we you end up with the 360 over 14 again?
all right. Remember, 14%, 14 degrees is what did they give us? 14 degrees. They give us 14 degrees. Is electricity and telephone bills. If you look at the diagram, it says electricity and telephone bill is 14 degrees, and that's the only part that we know is 875,000. So we already know the degree, so we are doing the opposite. We don't want the degree, we want they to know the total amount. So that's why instead of putting 14 upon 360, we upturn. Think you go there?
Oh, okay, Miss. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. So are we clear so far? All right, so silence again. I assume that's yes. So we're going to look at C part, where they ask us for the percentage of the budget spent on wages. Good. So that's how do we go about doing that? Any idea before I go ahead and show you? Yes, somebody saying something? All right, so we know wages is how much? 107 degrees. So what we do in this case here is that we take the 107 degrees and we divide that by 360. So it'll be, yes, we want its percentage is asking, and we should all know that percentage is out of
100.
100. That's absolutely correct. So what we do here is we take the 107 degrees, we divide that by 360, and we multiply by 100. What do we get? 107 degrees divided by 360 times 100 will give us 29.7%. Now there's another way you could have done this as well, where you could have by taking the degree divided by 360 multiplied by 100, or you could have done it this way, where you find, sorry, the budget. So you could have find the budget. How you go do that, you take the 8, just like how we do it here, take the 875,000, right? But instead of having 14 at the bottom, having 360 at the bottom there, you would have 107 degrees here. Let me get us changed. So this would have been 107 degrees here. All right, and then when you work that out, this will give you 6,687,500. Then
500.
that's correct. Then when you're finished, you take this amount here. You take this amount that you have here, which is 6,687,500, and we divide that by the total budget, which was it 22,500,000. All right, and then we multiply this.
Yeah, miss.
We multiply that by 100, which would also give you the same percentage, which is 29.7%. So those are the two ways in which you could have done it. So let me just go through back it for some persons. So they ask you for the percentage of budget. I think this part here is absolutely easy. So you simply take your degree, which is for wages, 107, we divide it by 360, and you multiply 100. For some person, they might prefer to go it this way. This is another alternative way, which you can also do. Nothing is wrong with that way. All right, where you just take your total, this part is the electricity, you multiply by your wages degree, and you divide it by your degree for electricity, which will give you an amount. This amount here is your wages amount. You divide that by your total budget, and then you multiply it by 100. Are we clear there? All right. So you didn't get to copy this part here, so I'm going to allow you to go ahead and copy this here. And then when you finish copying this part, I'm going to scroll down for you to get the solution. So let me know when you finish copying the example there, and then I'm going to go down for the solution. Okay, so we've looked at statistics. We started looking at statistics, where we defined the term statistics. We looked at two ways in which we can represent statistical information, basically the bar graph and the pie chart, where we were able to do construction of the pie chart, construction of a bar graph, as well as interpretation of a pie chart. All right, so you can, on page 365 in the Raymond Tools text, you can go ahead and try working exercise 8D. There are lots of examples. You can
Your
try out
earpiece needs to be thrown away because we cannot hear you.
Yes, I'm saying to you, exercise 8D on page 365. There are lots of problems there that you can work on your own.
One or two? Volume 1?
Volume 1. Volume 1 we're
Volume
using
one.
right one. Yeah, we start on volume 2 right now. So volume 1 right now, because we're doing the basics, and as we go along, we will continue more in depth on.
Okay.
All right. So that concludes today's lesson.